My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. What I have here is the Outdoor Vitals Fortius 2-person tent. Over the last couple of weeks, I've had countless viewers write in asking about this tent, so I went out and I purchased one. This episode is a first look. We're going to set this up, we're going to go over it, look at the features, talk about my impressions so far before my testing begins. From the viewers that I've heard from, they've said that there's a few videos about this tent out there already, but they said they can't be trusted. Those reviewers, those channels, for whatever reason, they can't be trusted. That's why we have the Outdoor Gear Review. The channel is agenda free. I'm going to share my thoughts about this product. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to show you what works, what doesn't. I don't care if you buy this or not. That's not what this channel is about. So, I'm going to wait for this passing shower to go by, and I'll bring you all back. So folks, let's do this. 40 minutes later, everyone, I'm back. Let's go ahead and do a component breakdown of this tent, then I'll set it up and we'll go over it. Here we go. This is the storage bag. As you can see here, you have a draw pull at the top. You do have a hand pull down at the bottom. In here we have some tent stakes, and we have 2 additional guy lines. Speaking of the tent stakes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 of those. And here we have the tent body and the fly. This is a single wall tent, so that means that the fly and the body are connected. I will go ahead and set this up and then we'll go over the features. As you can see here, the tent has been set up. This is a 2-door tent. So we have a door on this side, and we have a door on this side. Before we do anything, everyone, let's just go around this tent. Let's take a look at the features here. So with this tent, this is a 2-person shelter. You can see here on the side, you have 2 tie-off points. You have loops on either side so you can roll back the doors. And with the doors, both of these can be rolled back and tied up. Speaking of the doors, you have a storm flap that goes over the zippers. The storm flap is held into place with Velcro. You have a 2-way YKK zipper setup. You have a zipper here, and you also have another zipper here at the top. So you can open it from either end. At the base of each door is a toggle, and that attaches both of the doors together, and that keeps them together even in stormy conditions. So if you want to open a door, you have to release the toggle and then unzip. To open up the inside of the tent, to get inside of it, you have 2-way YKK zippers, and they are extremely smooth. You can open this up with one hand. That is nice. On the inside of the tent, you have a bathtub floor with a vent at each end. The seams have been taped. With the vestibule here, you can see how much space that you have. It is quite substantial. You could easily fit your backpack under here and a lot more. With the Fortius tent, this is available in 2-person and 1-person. The tent is available in 2 colors, blue and what they call Arctic. When it comes to the materials, the tent is made from a 15 denier sealed nylon that has been PU coated. This is a ripstop. It features a 1500 millimeter hydrostatic head rating. On the inside of the tent, it's a 10 denier no-seam nylon mesh. The tent features YKK zippers. The weight of this is 2 pounds, 2.5 ounces. And talking about the material specifically for a second, this again is a sil nylon. And you may be aware of this, you may not be, but sil nylon stretches. And because this material stretches, if you are going to use this in the rain, you will have to guy it out completely. All of that being said, unfortunately, this tent does not come with enough tent stakes to fully pull this out, to fully stake it out, to fully guy it out. Once you have the tent set up, you only have 2 tent stakes left. What you could do, and what I'm assuming the company wants you to do, is to use both guy lines with 1 tent stake. Personally, I don't like this. That's not how I would personally do it. You're going to be able to set the tent up in more adverse situations with more tent stakes. Instead of using 1 tent stake, you will find oftentimes that you're not going to be able to set that tent stake in the ground directly in the middle of the tent. Sometimes it's to the side, it's over here. No matter what, if you purchase this tent, you may want to consider adding additional tent stakes. I would recommend at least 2. When it comes to the stored measurements, you're looking at 5.5 inches by 7 inches. So overall, the form factor, it's not bad at all. When it comes to the setup dimensions, let's go ahead and grab the tape measure and measure it. We have a peak height of 45 inches. The tent is 50 inches wide, and the tent is 88 inches long. Lastly, as far as the information goes, the cost of this tent is $340. Now that we've gone over the features of this tent, we've gone over the materials and the stats, let's talk about my impressions of this so far. The setup process is very easy. If you've ever set up a trekking pole tent before, this makes perfect sense. Even if you've never set up one of these tents before, you won't have any problems. The quality of this tent looks to be very good, but I would not say great. There are some loose threads here, which is a little bit surprising considering the $340 price tag. When you compare this to budget-friendly tents that cost around $90 that have no issues, seeing some loose threads at $340, it hurts a little bit considering the price of this tent. When it comes to the materials of this tent, that is something that I'm concerned about. This is a 15 denier sil nylon, and folks, that's a material that has a tendency to stretch, sometimes a lot. With my testing over the years, I have found that if you have a 20 denier sil nylon or higher, the amount of stretching's not that bad. But once you go below 20, say to 15, the stretching can be extreme. A question that we will have to answer together is this: in the rain, how much is this going to stretch? How much is this going to sag? I fear that it's going to sag and stretch a lot. Now, with that being said, the materials used here are on the higher end. You have good quality sil nylon, you have YKK zippers, you have a nylon mesh instead of polyester. Again, these are all higher end materials and they should be considering this price. Because sil nylon has a tendency to sag and stretch, more than likely in wet environments, even in very humid environments, you may have to guy this out completely, which adds to the setup time, which limits the setups that you can do with this tent. You have to be in a location where you can stake this out because this is a non-freestanding tent. If you take the stakes away, this will collapse. The weight of this tent is very good. Right around 2 pounds, 2 ounces for this shelter, that's not bad. But you do have to keep this in mind, folks. You have to have trekking poles to set this up. So it's 2 pounds plus your trekking poles. If you carry trekking poles anyway, great. If you don't, you will with this tent. So that's something that you need to consider. One thing that I like a lot about this tent is the looks. This is a very good looking tent. The blue with the yellow accents, it's sharp looking. I like it. A huge pro for this tent is the size. 2 individuals over 6 foot can easily fit inside of this. They can sit up, change clothes, move around, do whatever they need to do. There's plenty of space. In the waterproof testing that I plan to do in the next couple of days, we will test this out. First, we will see whether or not this is waterproof. Next, we will test for sagging and stretching. Also, we will test for condensation. This is a single wall tent, so condensation is going to be an issue. There's no way around it. Unfortunately, when it comes to sil nylon, it does have a tendency to perform worse when it comes to condensation. And that makes being able to pull out these walls even more important. You need to get that material away from you because as this gets wet, this material will sag, it will fall in. You have to be able to pull it out. I do have concerns with this shelter, to be honest. And because of those concerns, I would say don't buy this tent right now. Hold off, let me test it out. Let's see how well this performs in a wet environment. There's a lot of people out there who will not purchase sil nylon tents and tarps because of the amount of stretching and sagging that takes place. So this is something that needs to be carefully considered and also carefully tested. Luckily, you won't have to wait long. My results should be up next week. For this episode, everyone, that pretty much wraps it up. Comment down below, share your thoughts. What do you all think about the Outdoor Vitals Fortius 2-person tent? Again, everyone, there is a 1-person version of this tent. It looks good as well. Much of what I'm saying here will apply to that tent too. Also, everyone, you may be wondering if this is a Z-Pax duplex clone, and it's very close. So is it a clone? I would say yes. Yes, it is. That's okay though, because there are plenty of clones of that tent out on the market. The Z-Pax Duplex is a very different tent. The duplex tent uses the lightest of materials, the highest end of materials. It is very expensive. It's like $700. It weighs like 1 pound. This is $340, weighs 2 pounds. So, and with that being said, folks, I am done. Everyone take care, be well, strength and honor. Make sure to hit the thumbs up before you go. It does help the channel. Comment down below. Share your thoughts. Is this going to leak? Is it going to be waterproof? What about sagging? What about stretching? I'm worried. I'm worried. What about you? Strength and honor, folks. See you soon.